Big Glock 45 here. It's 1994, and I got a 40. I sure do. Boom, and it's empty now because I took the mag out. But it's a 40, I promise, yes. So, here we are, 1994. We're always going back into time, aren't we, it seems like. Maybe we'll go forward sometime, into the future. But we're looking at 3 firearms and a 3 firearms battery that someone might have chosen in 1994. There's some of you not even born then, probably. But there were some good firearms then, before then, and after then, right? And here are 3. A Glock 40, Glock 23, 40 caliber, would have been very popular at that time period. And how about a Benelli Super 90? Yes, 12 gauge M1. Very, very, I say desirable in 1994. They were kind of pricey like they are now, so not everybody had one, but there were a lot of them, and there's one. Okay, a good choice in a shotgun maybe. And then for a rifle, how about a good old SKS, Russian model. A lot of them had come into the country by then and were floating around for whatever, 69 bucks, 99 bucks, which is what I paid for this one, 99. And so, not a bad choice. Most of us kind of like an SKS, right? Not maybe the ultimate rifle of all time, but not bad, not bad. So, we're traveling back. It was an interesting time, and we'll talk a little here. So, we appreciate everybody that helps us out, and we're just going to look at 1994 again, as I repeat in every one of these armed in videos. These choices are what someone might have made, okay? They're not the best choices necessarily in your opinion or mine, but they are some of the choices at that time, probably decent choices, okay? And, lots of possibilities, But it was a great year. I remembered, I was around. Nelson Mandela was elected president of South Africa. What else? Forrest Gump, the movie came out. My hero, Forrest Gump. That's all I got to say about that. And Jerry Springer was big on TV. Most of you probably watched that show a lot, which is why your IQ now is about 30 points less than it might have been. 1994. Michael Jordan was a famous baseball player in 94. Yeah, it was, I think, one of the baseball years, when he was playing baseball. And he was famous. He was a famous baseball player. I mean, he was great, but he was famous. So it was a great year. Gas was about $1.09 a gallon. I saw that. Average price of a car was about $12,000, right? So interesting time, and those of you who are there might remember it. Many of you are old enough. 94 is not exactly ancient, and you might have been collecting firearms, buying gasoline at $1.09 a gallon, and shooting ammo, 9mm at 2 cents a shot too, or whatever it was at that time. So these are some interesting firearms, I think, and this is a fun one because these are all my firearms, and guess what? These are kind of some of my choices in 1994. This is a Glock 23. We'll start with him a little bit. And the 23 came out in about 1990 in 40. If it's a Glock 23, it's 40 caliber. And this one's so old, it even says 40 S&W on it. Because, Smith & Wesson and Winchester, they got together and created the cartridge and everything. And then Glock was the first one with a firearm that was available, if you remember that. And then Smith & Wesson right on its heels, I guess. But then Winchester had the first boxes of ammo out. Again, I was there, and it's funny how fast time flies, but it doesn't seem that long ago. But gosh, it was like 3 years ago, and we were all excited about the 40 caliber coming out, and because I was involved in USPSA shooting and everything, and there was a lot of talk about it and the development of it, and you'd be able to shoot it in a standard size handgun and make major caliber, in competition. We talked some, and of course, about defensive, but it was the fact you didn't have to go to a 45 or a bigger bullet with much less capacity in order to count major on your targets. You got minor points and major points and all that sort of thing in competition. And many people use it and still do, I guess. A lot of people have built guns based around it, 1911s and everything else. And then, of course, as we all know, it was extremely popular in law enforcement. The FBI adopted it, the 40, the U.S. Marshals, trying to say. And I think the DEA, and then innumerable law enforcement agencies around the country, sheriff's departments, city polices, you name it. I think at one point, Glock had like 65 to 70% of the law enforcement market, I think in general. And it seemed like everybody was not everybody, but whatever, say 80% of the people that had adopted the Glock in law enforcement seemed like it was in a 40, wasn't it? Now we know that's mostly in a 9 now. But anyway, if you weren't around then and you're just 15 years old and you're one of the cool kids, you think it's cool to bash the 40 on the internet and you never even fired one or whatever, you missed a little bit of life there, bud. Because it ruled the day. Really did. And it's a good cartridge. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I've got 2 guns just like this in 40, and they're sweet. I'm going to shoot this one. Let's shoot some of this Federal 40s. 165 grain personal defense ammo. And it'll be loud because I don't have a suppressor on this thing. I want to thank Silencer Central for their support. Speaking of that, silencercentral.com. They really will help walk you through picking out the right suppressor for you and your firearm. And once you're approved, they'll ship it to your door. So check them out, and we really appreciate their support. All right. Hey, how about a rotten pumpkin? Let's blow it off there. Boom. He's on the move. All right. Didn't know I was going to get a mover. A moving target. Oh, man. Moved that one. Finish up on the Cowboy. Just a great gun. Great gun. Bash it all you want. I've kind of gone to 9 myself. I've explained why many times, but it's not because this is not a great cartridge and a great gun. You can feel a little more recoil, a little snappy in this size firearm, no doubt. But I don't know. Early on, I didn't hear a lot of people complaining about that. They'd make a remark on it, how it kicked a little more recoil. But hey, no kidding, it's a heavier bullet, in the same gun as a Glock 19. And but I don't know. It wasn't long before it seems like people just complained about that a lot. A lot of new shooters, I guess. And I still maintain that one thing that hurts the 40 is just a lot of people don't handle recoil well, and I understand that. It's a lot easier to shoot a 9. Let's empty this mag. This is a 40 round mag, I think, or a 20 round or something. Feels mighty good to me. Yeah. Uh-oh, I wounded that. So the 40 would have been a good choice. It would have been a very common choice, very popular choice. It was a very common choice for me. Okay, the Glock 23. I carried it for 10 years. Glock 23, and they started out with a Gen 2. It came out in about 1990, and after Gen 1 really had run its course, and so it started with more or less the Gen 2, without the didn't have the rail yet or finger grooves and that sort of thing that you got with the Gen 3. And so this is a Gen 2 model, an old one, and I've had this a good while now. So the Glock 40 would have been a very common choice and a very good choice, and still is a very good choice, despite what the naysayers and the haters have to say about it. That's my opinion. So what about the shotgun? How about a Benelli Super 90? Now, I've replaced the stock on this. It came most of them with a pistol grip, a really nice pistol grip, kind of like the M4, just that the rubberized is a great feel. Probably worth 3 times what this stock is, but I'm not a big fan of pistol grips on stock or shotguns, so I took that off, replaced it. And But yeah, the Super 90, man, I remember seeing videos on VHS at the time of people shooting in USPSA matches and things, and mowing down targets, and it seemed like the top shooters had a Benelli Super 90. And I wanted to be a top shooter. I wanted to be like them, you know. And so I started looking around, and I bought this one in 1989, okay? I think they came out in 86, the M1 Super 90. This one's so old, it's imported by, it's got what, HK? Yeah, H&K on the side. People ask about that all the time when they see it in the video. And so in 89, I bought it over in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, Kingston, around in there. And I shot it. I shot it in matches and just had a lot of fun with it. It's a great shotgun. But it would have been one that was highly desirable, a little pricey. It was like $650. You know, at the time, that was a lot of money for a shotgun. And so this would have been a very understandable choice, you know, in 1994. It really would, because it was a hot gun at that time, and the M2 wasn't out yet, I'm just, and highly desirable. And so this person, whoever this is, this mythical person, they chose a Glock 40, which hadn't been out all that long, new caliber and Glock and everything. That's cool. Super 90 shotgun, inertial bolt action, you know, no gas operation, very, very reliable. Really shootable. Speaking of that, let's make sure it's really shootable. And so this would have been safety on. A pretty good choice, because if you wanted to shoot fast and have a shotgun that was pretty light, not heavy to lug around, yeah, it would have been my choice. Again, this was my choice. You know, lots of times, maybe these are not my first choice in firearms in these videos. I don't know if these are my first choices, but it's definitely my choice. Let's just take a couple shots with it, and let's shoot one on, no, let's don't. Let's save that target. Let's just shoot that tombstone. See, it'll really smoke. You can empty that magazine in no time if you want to. It's just a wonderful gun. I'm going to shoot it again if you'll let me. Safety on. Look at that. That's the only negative. It will not let you put a shell in backwards. I've written to Benelli about that, and you know, they just won't answer my emails for some reason when I remind them that their shotgun is not very flexible. The primers have to be to the rear, or else they won't fire. And I don't know. I get the impression they're just laughing at me maybe about that. Wasn't that hilarious? So, yeah, I've had this a long time, and it was one of my choices in '94, basically, even though I bought it before then, because it was just a firearm that had a great reputation, and it still does. So now watch me have a malfunction. I just wanted to, yeah, it sort of did. One hung up, didn't feed. I have actually had I don't know what that was about. I have actually had over the last, since I've been doing videos, a couple of malfunctions with this thing, and that's disturbed me. I think I need upgrades on my springs. You know, it's pretty old, been shot a lot. I don't know. I just never have gotten around to doing it. I keep talking about it. But great shotguns, we all know Benelli, so that'd been a good choice, right, for a shotgun. You know, not everybody, you know, would have made that. You can get so many good old pump shotguns, used ones off the police market or anything, you know, for a whole lot less money even then. But great choice. And then for a rifle, again, lots of choices in the 90s, right? All sorts of ARs and you name it, bolt guns and everything else. But the SKS, the Russian models, I think a bunch of them were released around 88, I think it was. So since the late 80s, a lot of these were coming in. Now load it while I'm yakking at you. And so, you know, they were very popular. You might remember if you were around, or had some out. And of course they were priced, like crazy cheap, back then. Even the Russian models were, like I said, I think I remember them at 59. You may remember them even cheaper, but it seemed like 69, 59, 69 seems to be the price I remember the most. And then I think by the time I bought one, though, I paid 99 for this one. All right, make you sick, huh? And I meant to look that year up. That was, use the right ammo. We have a video called that. Yeah, the round seemed short to me all of a sudden. So yeah, in the 90s you could get these things for nothing almost, and it's what happens with all these surplus rifles and shotguns or whatever. Once a bunch of them are kind of released or dumped on the market, they're very inexpensive for a while, and we tend to not regard them that valuable because they're so cheap. But they're nice rifles, aren't they? Many of you have one of these. Got safety on. Good old SKS, the Russian models, highly, highly desirable. Let's go over there and pop something. Let's take the safety off, might help. Yeah. Really nice. On the gong. Haven't shot him yet. Oh yeah. Let's bolt. Oh, that 2-liter thinks he's going to get away right there. Oh, got him on the last round. Yeah, SKS is standard. Everybody knows about them. I put this on. I wonder why. It could be because I'm 6'8", you think. This is Tool, I believe, and it was made in 1954. And I think this one, you've seen this before in videos, maybe we've done a couple of videos with it. It's, I don't think it's a refurb. I think it was just never really used or issued. It's not, any marks on it me, that's from probably a gun safe. You can sort of tell on a rifle, the stock, or you got, even though it's been redone, refinished, you got some deep gouges here and there and darker and everything. All the blemishes on this are me. It was like brand new. So I'm sure they didn't just take it and sand it down totally or anything like to get that finish. And it's just got a totally unused look about it. Now we're empty, of course. The cool thing about them was that bayonet, just like, the Spiker AK, opens the same way. Great rifle, and because they were so inexpensive, it was just a really, really common choice and a good choice. They tend to work. They really do. 10 rounds, semi-automatic, they're available. Nothing special, like, even though it's a Russian firearm, it's not full auto, select fire, and have to go through all kinds of hoops to own it. It's just like buying, these other firearms. They're all semi-automatic, of course. So, yeah, for less than $100, that would have been something a person could buy. And again, this, less than 6 or 7. And the Glocks, what they sold for back then, about 4, I guess, something like that, 3 something. Good choices for that time period, as well as today, I would say, wouldn't you? Not bad at all. A Glock 40 and 12 gauge Super 90 M1 and an SKS. You really could do a lot worse. That's my opinion. So, I owned all 3 of these. I want to say 1994 or 1995, but it was right around that time period. So basically I owned these firearms in that year we're talking about. Now, they weren't my only ones. I think kind of the spirit of these armed in videos, the spirit of it is maybe if you just had these 3, you had to choose a pistol, a rifle, and a shotgun. These would have been the choices of, somebody, maybe a lot of somebodies, many of us, we have 3 or 4 rifles maybe, and then, so it's a little different, but I did own all of these 3, and so they were my choices. It's just that they were not my exclusive choices. Okay, does that make any sense? Do I ever make any sense? So anyway, that's just my take on it. Those would have been 3 good choices, and I'm sure beyond a shadow of a doubt that those were the choices of somebody somewhere who had maybe no other firearms 22 revolver or something, you know. So SKS, M1 Super 90, and a Glock 23. I tell you what, I could live with those today. Actually, I do. They're mine. Life is good.
Oh yeah, that's better. This is a great gun for defense. Oh hey, didn't see you guys there. While I've got you here, I want to remind you of our friends over at Talon Grips and Ballistol. Talon Grips makes grips, can you believe it, for all different types of firearms. You can get rough texture or more of a rubberized texture. It just sticks right on there. You know, really affordable, really cool option to improve the grip for your handguns or rifles. So please check them out at talongungrips.com. You'll be glad you did. And also Ballistol. Dad has been using Ballistol for many years. It's a cleaner and a lubricant, and it's non-toxic. It works really great, and we're happy to have them on board since it's been a part of our shooting endeavor for a very long time. So go to ballistol.com, talongungrips.com. And also, while you're out there, I'm juggling all these things here. Also, while you're on the internet, please do check out our other social media like Hickok45 on Facebook. There's also Hickok45 on Twitter, The Real Hickok45 on Instagram. There's a John_Hickok45 on Instagram where I do some things. There's Hickok45.com. You can find us also on Gunstreamer. So check out all that stuff and then watch more videos.